So someone recently asked us if everything that George Galloway said in a particular video was a lie. Rather than type out an answer, we thought we'd make a quick response video. Now, before anyone thinks we've gone absolutely crazy on the edit, the Islamic music, the Arabic subtitles, and the terrible, absolutely terrible spelling was all added by George Galloway or someone in his team, or at least we assume it was because it's on his official YouTube channel.
I was just I was listening to you a couple of nights ago, and you were talking to these people, and they were saying that the Jews did not have the right to gain Israel from the Palestinians, and I was just saying, throughout history, the Jews have been persecuted, obviously, from the Holocaust, and we were granted Israel as a result of this.
Granted by whom?
From Britain and other countries granted us that.
Well, what right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country?
Well, it's due because we lost 6 million people.
No. I'm not arguing about that. I'm going to come on to that. What right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country?
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Britain didn't give the Jews a country. Britain was awarded the region by the League of Nations after the Ottoman Empire was defeated in World War I. This had left a power vacuum in the area, and Britain was awarded control on the condition that they honour the Balfour Declaration and create a Jewish national home there. But they never did this. In fact, the opposite is true. When the international community voted in 1947 to recognise Israel, Britain abstained. They didn't vote. So not only did Britain not create Israel, they barely played a passive role in its creation. For crying out loud, the Swedes went further. At least the Swedes actually voted to recognise Israel. So George seems to build an entire argument around this strawman that he's constructed. But he deliberately conflates the Balfour Declaration with the creation of Israel. The two are completely separate events. Oi, let's continue.
Well, they were basically gave us because of the
But they gave you somebody else's country. That's the point I'm making, Alex. Can you deal with it? Britain granted you somebody else's country.
No, they didn't. And besides, there was never a country called Palestine. For centuries, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and all different kinds of people lived in that region as subjects of much larger empires, like the Ottomans or the Fatimids. Seriously, you're all for the self-determination of other people, like the Palestinians, for example. Why not extend that same right to the Jews that were also living in that land?
I'm asking you, what right did Britain have to grant you somebody else's country? The Jews have suffered. They were subject to regular discrimination at best and murder at most. The one place in the entire world that Jews were neither discriminated against nor subject to pogrom was the Muslim world.
Galloway knows history like a trout knows how to fly. While it's certainly true that there were Islamic caliphates where the Jews fared incredibly well, such as in Al-Andalus, where the Jewish faith was not only respected and tolerated, but the Jewish people were able to climb the very high positions within society. However, there were other Islamic caliphates where the Jews fared terribly, such as the Almohads. The Almohads threatened the Jewish community that if they didn't convert to Islam, they would either be expelled from the land or put to death. Put to death! That actually goes against a teaching in the Quran, but that's a conversation for another time. So the claim that there was never a Muslim pogrom against the Jewish people is a disgusting revision of history. Now one has to question the intention of Galloway. Why is a white British alleged atheist playing Islamic music with Arabic subtitles and making outlandish claims about the tolerance of every Muslim caliphate in history? Even Muslims don't believe that every single caliphate was perfectly tolerant. It's absolute nonsense. It's almost like he would contort the truth and attack the Jewish state simply to appeal to the Muslim vote. I really hope they see through this divisive ploy where he pits one community against another to increase his own popularity.
That's why, under the protection of the Muslims, the Jews left Europe. Palestine, that was wiped off the map when Britain granted you somebody else's country, had Jews living side by side with Christians and Muslims for century upon century without the slightest trace of discrimination or violence or pogroms.
Mate, seriously, your history is terrible. Palestine wasn't wiped off the map by the British, it was put on the map by the British. Before the British were awarded the mandate of Palestine, there was no Palestine. Instead, there were different provinces in the Ottoman Empire, such as Nablus, Accra and Jerusalem. So what was British Mandatory Palestine? Well, it included Israel, the West Bank, Gaza and Jordan. But just 1 year after being awarded the mandate, Britain gave the Emirate of Jordan to the Arabs. That was the Arab state. The Arabs were given the right to self-determination and given land whose name they changed from Palestine to Jordan. They named it after the river that flowed along its border. What remained was supposed to be the Jewish state, but the British went back on their word and refused to create it. Instead, they handed the problem over to the United Nations to sort out their mess. So Britain definitely did not create Israel, and it certainly didn't wipe Palestine off the map. Something that most people don't know is that 90%, yes, 90% of Jordanians are actually Palestinian. In fact, Yasser Arafat famously stated that what you call Jordan is nothing more than Palestine. Now, instead of responding to these remarks with outrage, the King of Jordan declared, "The truth is that Jordan is Palestine and Palestine is Jordan." It didn't stop there. The early Arab leaders rejected the Palestinian identity entirely. They considered it to be a Zionist label. There is no such country as Palestine. Palestine is a term the Zionists invented. There is no Palestine in the Bible. Our country was for centuries part of Syria. So again, George, where is this country called Palestine that you claim that the British wiped off the map? The final point that I'd like to address is the one where you claim that the Jews who were living there had perfect relations with their Arab neighbours for centuries. This is an outright lie. Did you forget about the 1518 massacre in Hebron? Or how about the 1834 massacre in Tzfat? And did the 1929 massacre in Hebron also slip your mind? You, my friend, are absolutely ignorant or willfully twisting history. If you like this video and want to see more like it, or you simply want to argue with us in the comments section, hit the big red subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on Facebook. We're the Israel Advocacy Movement. Oh yeah, and we're also on Twitter at the moment as well, so add us on there. Thank you for watching.